Please come. Good afternoon. Please take a seat, Miss Madhumita.
Thank you, sir.
You won a gold medal in maths.
Yes, sir.
That's remarkable. And yet you took history as your subject, optional.
Sir, that was in 10th class.
But if, for the UPSC examination, what's your optional?
Sir, history.
History. Okay. And what is anchoring and Sanji art?
Sir, I used to host stage events in school and college.
Mm-hmm.
And sir, Sanji art is a rural folk art in Haryana.
You also did your BBA,
Yes, sir.
Bachelor of Business Administration.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, in what way business administration is different from civil administration?
Sir, business administration is primarily for the purpose of profit maximization. But sir, civil administration is for the welfare of people.
Only welfare, nothing else.
Sir, there is also a difference between the way the two things are conducted. For example, is business administration. The primary motive is profit maximization. So we focus on the efficiency. We want to get the maximum work done from people. And sir, there is always a lurking fear of being expelled if the person is not very efficient. But in civil administration, the factors are reversed.
You see, Ms. Madhumita,
Yes, sir.
as an IAS officer,
Yes, sir.
suppose you decided to order lathi charge to disperse an unlawful assembly. In what way it is going to add the welfare of the people? Could you please give some thought and let me know?
So since it's an unlawful assembly, so it causes inconvenience to the other citizens who have nothing to do with the purpose for which it has the people have assembled. So sir, in that way, if I order a lathi charge, then it definitely aims at the welfare of the other people.
Okay. Yes.
Madhumita, you are from Panipat. What is Panipat famous for?
So Panipat is called the city of textiles and the city of weavers.
City of Textiles and
Weavers.
Weaver.
Yes.
Khaddi lagi हुई है. Khaddi or khaddi? Panipat is known for khaddi.
I'm
No.
not aware of the very term.
Okay, the term used in Panipat that is for handloom. Handloom is called khaddi in local language and in Hindi. So how is this handloom different from powerloom?
So handloom is to do with the manual looms, and power loom is with the technological degradation that has been affected over the years. And so power loom is more efficient and cost effective.
But Panipat is full of handlooms.
Yes, sir.
So have you have been a student of business, so have you studied the business side of this handloom industry there?
No, sir, I haven't.
What is the main product of handloom in Panipat?
So there are a lot of products: blankets, bed sheets,
Uh-huh.
carpets, then mats also.
Okay,
And so there's quilts made of fiber.
quilts made of fiber.
Fiber.
Okay. So there is a handloom industry in Muradnagar also. Are you aware of it or no? Muradnagar in UP?
No, sir.
No idea. Okay. What else is Panipat famous for apart from handloom industry?
So there are certain tourist sites also, like the Kabuli Bagh Masjid, and then sir there is a mazar of the Bu Ali Shah Qalandar, who was a famous saint, and sir it has also an oil refinery and a thermal power plant.
There was a bureaucrat who was very famous for setting up tourism in Haryana, which brought Haryana tourism on the map of the nation. Are you aware of it?
No, sir, I haven't heard.
Okay. In Samalkha, you have a Haryana tourism outlet. What is it called?
So tourist outlet. Somewhere there is Blue Jay where people stay.
Yeah. What is it?
So it's a state-owned resort.
Okay. All the wars, three battles were fought on Panipat.
Yes.
What was the reason for all these battles taking place only in Panipat?
Sir, the invaders used to come from the northwestern frontier. So they had to capture Delhi, which was the capital in all the cases. So sir, if anybody has to rule India, they have to capture Delhi, and Panipat happens to be the most extensive plain that is en route to Delhi. So the.
Do you remember the dates of the 3 battles?
I remember the year, but not the specific.
Years, okay. What years?
So the first battle was 14-15-26
Between?
between Babur and Ibrahim Lodi.
Yes.
So the second one was 14-15-56, which was between Akbar and Ayubur, and so the third was between the Marathas and Ahmad Shah Abdali in 1761.
So the second battle was not fought with an invader. Was it fought with an invader?
So it was not fought with an invader,
Huh.
but still the Mughals were not properly strengthened because the Humayun had been expelled and he died in 1555. So they were still to consolidate, and a lot of forces had come from the northwestern frontier also.
These small handloom operators in Panipat, that business is organized in what? You're a BBA student, so I'm asking you, in what legal entity format are they the business done?
So I'm not aware of this.
You know sole proprietary,
Yes, sir.
you know partnership firms, you know companies,
Yes, sir.
you know private limited company, public limited company.
Yes, sir.
So what is the format of, what is the legal format of these businesses?
Sir, I haven't come across the actual report as to what is the legal format, but I consider it would be sole proprietorship, given the scale at which the business is conducted.
Okay, is there any limitation on small scale industry for employment of people for registration or no?
So specific to registration.
Yeah.
So I think it would be primarily the procedural complexities that these people have to face.
Okay, you're a BBA student. Tell me what is the difference between a registered partnership firm and not registered partnership firm?
So I'm not.
No idea. Do you know where partnership firms are registered?
No.
No idea. What is the difference between private limited company and public limited company?
So private limited company is in the number of members that are allowed, there is a difference between the two. And there are also the public listing of shares on the stock exchange. So public entity is registered on the stock exchange, so it is open for investment to the public, but private limited company is not open.
Any other differences?
So these are the two I can recall.
You don't know the others. What is top line in business? What is the meaning of the word top line?
So I'm not aware.
What is bottom line? No idea about top line or bottom line. What is wrong going in our economy?
So the economy is recently experiencing a slowdown because we see that investment growth rate has been reduced to 0.97%, which is a 15-year low. And so the manufacturing sector has also been growing at a rate of merely 2%, which is also the lowest since the financial crisis of 2008 and 9. So credit expansion is also becoming an issue because the banking sector is suffering from the non-performing asset problem. So the MSMEs, which happen to be the growth engine of the economy in terms of employment, are not getting the necessary credit for expansion. And so also the unemployment rate has reached a high of 6.41%, which is a 40 years high in terms of unemployment. So sir, all these factors are currently making the economy slow down in terms of growth. So the current next year projections are, sir, for the GDP growth rate 6 to 6.5%.
Tell me, have you heard about G20?
Yes, sir.
What is G20?
So G20 is an intergovernmental organization or a grouping of countries where the 20 most fast developing countries gather every year and discuss issues pertaining to finance or other issues which are relevant to the overall global governance.
When was it set up?
So I'm unable to recall.
What was the whole idea behind G20? Because earlier we used to have only G7. So why G20?
So G7 was for the most developed countries of the world, but then there are also emerging economies and developing countries which are fast catching up. So the idea of G20 was to involve these people also.
Okay. And who is the current chairman now? This year's chairman?
Sir, I'm not aware.
Ajay, tell me, what is globalization? Have you heard about globalization?
Yes.
Tell me, just define globalization.
Sir, globalization is the increasing integration of economies of the world in terms of the greater flow of capital, goods, people, and services, and also money.
Is it good for developing countries?
Yes, sir, it is good for developing countries because after we adopted the policy of globalization in 1991, a lot of foreign direct investment came in. We were able to import the latest technologies. So, sir, and we were also able to enjoy enhanced market access to the various countries of the world. So, sir, I think it has benefited us, and our growth rate of economy has increased by bounds and leaps after we opened up.
Why is there some backlash against globalization in some parts of the world?
So the backlash against globalization has been primarily in the United States and also in the West. The reason is that they think that developing countries have been benefiting from the arrangement disproportionately, while the developed countries have not benefited as such. So the US says that the other countries like India and China, they impose tariffs on the goods that US exports to us while enjoying preferential treatment for our products when we export to their markets. So, sir, the GSP, Generalized System of Preferential Trade, that was revoked by the USA for our products, and we have been taken off the developing countries list very recently.
Tell me, how is India managing its relationships with US, Russia, and China?
So with US, we have instituted the 2+2 dialogues to deal with the issues of finance and defense. We are increasing our partnership with US in terms of defense. We have a defense technology and trade initiative. And so we are also importing certain equipments in terms of defense. And so China is a country on which we have complex interdependence because economically we are dependent on China because of the electronics industry and the pharmaceutical industry. But sir, geopolitically, if we see, we have issues of border disputes, the China-Pakistan economic corridor that passes through our territory. So sir, presently our focus is to improve the confidence building measures with China so that both of us can grow on the footing of mutual benefit. So as to Russia, the US and Russia have a complex relationship and we have to balance both of the two. So sir, we have to import defense equipments from Russia, and since we have already imported a lot, we need to service them also and repairs also. So sir, we have to maintain an equidistant from both of these countries so that we need a tilt on both of the two and can take benefits from both.
My last question. Why is the US dollar strengthening despite the interest rates going down? And similarly, why is the rupee in India strengthening?
So, patriarchy, sexuation.
Sir, I'm unable to recall the proper
Or,
word.
Panipat, 3 battles were fought.
Yes, sir.
In the 3rd battle, the role of Surajmal has been questioned. So, can you tell us what is the controversy about?
Sir, if I'm able to recollect it, Surajmal was the Jat king.
Yeah, I was just there.
Yes, sir. Sir, he was the only king in the north or in the India at the point of time who had sided with Marathas. All other had sided on the invaders, that is Ahmad Shah Abdali's side. So this much.
But what is the controversy about the movie? There is a movie on Panipat which has come recently.
Yes, sir.
It was alleged that he sided with the others, with the not Marathas but with the invading party.
So I haven't watched the movie. I don't know.
Okay, fine. Now we have found that the Haryana claims a lot of success in uplifting its women and gender disparity reduction, etc. So, what is your opinion about it? And secondly, it is seen as a patriarchal society where cups are very, very active.
Yes, sir.
Cup panchayats take decisions. So, what is your view on these matters?
So recently we have had success in improving the sex ratio also into the 0 to 6 category, 0 to 6 years. The campaign Beti Bachao and Beti Padhao was launched from Panipat. And sir, we have a number of achievements to boast of when it comes to women empowerment. So first that we have disproportionate number of women athletes. Sakshi Malik won bronze in Olympics. And sir, Vinesh Fogat, the Fogat sisters, they have won medals in Commonwealth. Sir, also Manushi Chillar won the Miss World competition. And sir, we are also finding increased representation in UPSC Civil Service examination also, as is reflected in the results every year.
But the other side of the story you're not telling. Are the Cup Panchayats still active in enhancing the patriarchal nature of society?
So Cup Panchayats are still active, but they are not a universal phenomenon in Haryana. They are only for the Jats, who happen to be the upper caste people, accounting for 29% of our state's population. So sir, their decisions apply to those people largely, and they do not affect the others. Yes, they have been involved with the honor killings in the recent past, but sir, they are not wholly negative in character, because there have been certain Khap Panchayats also who banned the mentioning of caste surnames with people, so as to reduce this problem of caste discrimination.
Okay, you have done BBA. Why didn't you pursue by doing MBA or some other postgraduate course?
Sir, I wanted to fulfill the essential qualification criteria for UPSC and start preparing for it. I had postponed MBA after I get through the examination, but that hasn't happened yet also.
Tell me the difference between X theory and Y theory in management.
Sir, as much as I can remember, these are the two theories pertaining to motivation.
Yeah.
X theory and Y theory.
What are the sources of performance according to these two?
Sir, they say the management of the people depending upon what is the nature. If the people are motivated by nature, then the manager has to motivate them further in order to get the work done. But if they shirk from work, then an authoritarian style of leadership has to be adopted in order to get work done.
Give me an example of an organization where Y theory will be suitable.
So name
Any type, I mean, what the type of organization? No, I don't want to name. You can give if you feel like.
Sir, I'm not aware.
Is bureaucracy based on X theory or Y theory?
Sir, bureaucracy deals with various kinds of people, so it will depend upon office to office as to how, and
What
also
about
the
police?
number.
What about police? Let's take police organization as an example. Will Y theory work in the police management?
Sir, I think we cannot also generalize the nature of policemen, so it will also depend upon unit to unit as to what theory has to be used.
Okay. Did you do any internship in your BA program with any industrial group
No,
or
sir.
something like that? It's not mandatory at all?
No, sir.
Okay. If I say that smaller states are good for development, will you agree?
Sir, I do not remember the statistical data to substantiate this claim.
No, but as a principle, do you
yes,
agree?
Sir. No, sir.
You don't agree?
I think grassroots democracy has to be strengthened than increasing the administrative burden.
No, you didn't understand my question. See, we have made Haryana by breaking Punjab. Similarly, we broke UP into Uttarakhand and UP. Chhattisgarh was broken. So has it given further growth and development by breaking off from the bigger state?
Sir, Haryana and Punjab had linguistic issues. So it was not with the...
No, whatever the issue, whatever the origin of the thing, has it benefited the state?
Sir, we have been growing quite substantially in Haryana, but the main purpose for which the state was created was a linguistic issue. The Akali Dal in Punjab wanted to have another state for the Punjabi community, and the Hindi-speaking population was constituted into the
Let's
state of
forget
Haryana.
political thing. Only let's go by economic criteria of development and growth. Then what will you say?
Sir, in particularly with our state, economically we have been doing well, but the same cannot be said about Uttarakhand, because its progress has not been as impressive, even though it is a smaller state.
Okay, but we see socially still a lot of problems are there in Haryana. And all these Babas are still having a big hold on the large vast masses. What is the reason for people following Babas who ultimately have been proved to be frauds?
So people are, I would say, gullible. They easily believe the claims that they will get salvation and all those things. They need an escape from the troubles of life, and Babas show them the other side, how they can get salvation,
Not going-
etc.
Okay, fine. So I am making a statement that globalization has been good for Indian business. Do you agree with this?
Yes, sir.
In what form? How does it promote?
Sir, after we opened up our economy, we have the opportunity to export our products to markets across the world. Then we were able to import the latest technologies, and also a lot of foreign direct investment and also the institutional investment came in.
Can the opposite be also said to be correct? That you have an inward looking economy, then growth will go down? Is it correct to say that?
Sir, because prior to 1991, we did have an inward looking economy, and then we almost reached an economic crisis. So we had to open up.
Okay, just tell me about the smart city program in our country.
Sir, the Smart City program was conceptualized in 2015. That was to improve the infrastructure in our cities and also the governance. So that not only the physical infrastructure improves, but people also have increased revenues for participation in the governance of the cities.
Okay, one last question. Now, in companies, when they raise funds, there are two ways of raising funds: equity and loan. So, which is costlier of the two?
So I think it is the debt which is costlier, because a fixed rate of interest has to be paid no matter the losses or profits.
I mean, your extracurricular activities you mentioned anchoring and MGR.
Yes,
Or these are what, street plays?
sir, anchoring?
No, the art, Sanji art is what?
Sir, it is a rural folk art. It is a crude human form of a deity which we prepared with the help of clay.
Okay. And anchoring?
So anchoring is hosting the stage events, for example, talent shows.
Tell me, I mean, something about the Sabrimala issue.
So Sabrimala is a temple in Kerala which is dedicated to Lord Ayappa, who is considered a celibate. So women of the reproductive age are not allowed to enter the premises. But sir, in 2017, the Supreme Court passed a judgment allowing women of all ages to enter the temple. But sir, a review petition has been filed thereon, and Supreme Court is considering the issue again, along with the other issues that pertain to the larger question of constitutional morality and essential religious practices.
What are your views? Do you think the Supreme Court was right in interfering in the religious practices?
Sir, there are certain practices which violate the fundamental rights of women. So sir, if we have to become one of the modern nations in the world, then we have to compare the religious practices and the constitutional ones. And whenever they are found to be in violation, we should make sure that the constitutional practices emerge victorious.
You must have heard about the Citizenship Amendment Act.
Yes, sir.
So what are your views on that? I mean, you've been seeing protests and all that. What are your views on that?
I think it is a political issue, political and controversial issue with severe implications given the protests that it has invited. But sir, I think there is a need to clarify the whole concept of the Citizenship Amendment Act. So the people, I have seen people having placards in their hands saying that I will lose my citizenship. But the bill essentially provides citizenship to the prosecuted minorities from the 3 Islamic countries. It does not take away anybody's citizenship who is already a bona fide citizen of the country.
Have you heard about left-wing extremism?
Yes, sir.
Could you tell me, I mean, some states which are affected by left-wing extremism?
Sir, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Telangana, and certain portion of Maharashtra also. and sir, Andhra Pradesh.
Okay, now tell me what are the factors that have led to the growth of left-wing extremism? Why did it come in the first place?
So this left-wing extremism originated in the state of West Bengal, a region called Naxalbari, where the peasants were exploited. So initially they wanted to get hold of the land that had been forcibly taken from them. But sir, over the period of time, it has changed its form. Now the people who are the mafias or the heads in the left-wing extremism, they are violating the poor people by ideologically radicalizing them and putting them on the sidelines.
Yeah, why there is so much of concentration in the tribal religion?
So because of
What is
the
so specific about it?
so these are essentially mineral-rich states where the tribals are evicted forcibly. So they develop a sense of resentment and so take up arms to protest against the state.
Okay, one last question. You studied in Maharaja Agrasen school, I think, no?
Yes, sir.
I mean, who was Maharaja Agrasen?
Sir, Maharaja Agrasen was a Kshatriya king and he was advised by Lord Shiva, of whom he was a devotee, to worship goddess Lakshmi further. And goddess Lakshmi advised him to adopt Vaishya, that is trade, as an occupation for the benefit of his subjects. So sir, he developed a city of traders called Agroha, which is in the present day Hisar.
Hisar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. In that case, Miss Madhumita, Maharaja Agrasen seems to be a mythical king and not a king in real life, not a historical figure. Do you agree with this?
Sir, with respect to him being a mythical king, there are several controversies. Some say that he was during the reign of Mahabharata, and some say the other things like historical evidences are there. So, sir, it's a controversy as of now.
Is there any document on this controversy, any book, anything that I can read?
Sir, I haven't come across.
Okay. I find your order of preference for zones very interesting. Your second preference is Eastern Zone. Okay, and you put Sikkim as your first preference. Why?
Sir, to be very frank, when I filled it up, I perhaps misunderstood the whole concept of preference of order, which I realized later.
Okay. So, okay, fine. You see, if you are posted to your home state, what are the two major environmental issues, natural resource management issues, which are presently matters of serious concern for Haryana government? Two issues are very important now.
Sir, one is the water contamination, the groundwater contamination, because we have our state divided into 128 blocks, out of which 78 are in the water stressed region. And sir, second is the seasonal issue of the parali burning, which happens to pollute the adjacent state of Delhi adversely.
See, let us discuss the groundwater situation. Is it man-made?
So I think it is man-made because we are extensively growing paddy, which is a water-intensive crop. So sir, it has led to the groundwater contamination.
Please give a thought and tell me in what way people could be dissuaded from growing paddy. So you are agriculture commissioner and government asked you to formulate a scheme to persuade the farmers to avoid rice crop growing.
So the minimum support price for paddy has been very high in the recent years. So the farmers tend to grow paddy. But sir, if we have the minimum support price for other crops also, for example millets, bajra, and pulses, oilseeds, etc. So I think they will shift to those crops also.
So you suggest that we should reduce the support price, MSP?
So I won't say that to reduce the price for this, but we can increase the price for other crops so that farmers shift to that crop in a phased manner.
Very good. What are the special problems of Mewat region? I'm told that there are some special problems of development of Mewat region.
Sir, I know one thing that it has one of the lowest literacy rates in our state. So I think that literacy has to be boosted.
Anything else?
Sir, I am not aware.
Okay. You see, we discussed about globalization.
Yes, sir.
I've just read an article with this heading. It is slowbalization now. Not globalization, but slowbalization. SLOW. What does it mean? What do you think of it?
Sir, the very country which propounded the concept of Washington Consensus, a world which is more open, in which there is more interaction from the point of view of economy, that is USA. They have started a backlash against the process of globalization. So recently we saw that there was a trade war between US and China, and the World Economic Outlook, which is a publication by the IMF, suggested that it would reduce the global GDP by 0.7%. And so the global GDP growth rate forecast was also lowered down to 1.3%. So sir, I would say that it is a protectionist tendency and the reducing role of WTO that makes the process globalization instead of globalization.
Okay. You see, I have just read a criticism of Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao program.
Yes.
It is like this, that this program is basically a kind of a propaganda. You know, it doesn't provide any concrete assistance to women to advance. It is more about, what is called motivation campaign, less about providing concrete help to women and children. What are the components of this project?
Sir, it has three components. One is to abolish or eliminate the sex-selective abortion. So second is financial help, and so third is to ensure the survival of the female child after that infanticide or feticide issue has been addressed. And so there is also a component called Sukanya Samriddhi Yojana, which provides an assured interest rate of 9.1% on the deposits in the name of the girl child.
Has it made any tangible difference in Haryana?
Sir, I came across some reports that the sex ratio into the 0 to 6 years of age group has improved after the implementation of this.
Anything else like literacy? Age of marriage?
No, sir. Specifically after the implementation of this program, I haven't come across any significant improvement on this front.
Thank you. Your interview is over. Miss Madhumita, will you please wait outside? We'll call you to give our feedback. Okay.